Welcome back, coin collectors and history enthusiasts. Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins out there, the 1961 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another ordinary coin from the early 1960s, but trust me, there's so much more to this penny than meets the eye. In fact, this coin could be worth more than you ever imagined. But is it worth $1 million? Stick with me to find out the current market value, what makes this coin so special, and how you can potentially strike gold with just a small, unassuming penny. Before we jump into the value and market trends, let's talk a little about the history of the 1961 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, was introduced in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It features the iconic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which has been in use since 1959. The 1961 coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark. Now, the 1961 penny was part of the regular mintage for that year. It's made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, like other pennies minted during this time. The mintage numbers were high. More than 1.1 billion coins were struck in Denver alone, so at first glance, it doesn't seem like it would be anything out of the ordinary. So, why is the 1961 penny so special? Well, the value of this coin doesn't come from just its age or mint mark, but rather from its rarity in certain conditions. In fact, it's one of those coins that can be worth thousands, and in some rare cases, millions of dollars. The key to unlocking the real value of the 1961 penny lies in its condition. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are the ones that fetch high prices. The 1961 Lincoln penny is particularly sought after when it's graded as a mint state, specifically MS-65 or higher. These coins exhibit almost no signs of wear and tear and retain their original luster and shine. Now let's talk numbers. What's the current market value of a 1961 Lincoln penny? As of today, a typical 1961 penny in circulated condition is worth about 2 to 3 cents, basically, face value or just a little bit more due to its age. However, the real magic happens when these coins are in mint condition. Coins graded in the mint state 63 range can sell for around $5 to $10. But if you manage to get your hands on one that's graded MS-65, the value skyrockets to anywhere from $50 to $200. And it doesn't stop there. A 1961 penny that's been graded at MS-67 could easily fetch over $1,000 in auctions. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The real jackpot comes from finding a 1961 Lincoln penny with an error, whether it's a die crack, double die, or any other minting flaw. Coins with these errors are rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for them. So, can a 1961 Lincoln penny actually be worth millions? While $1 million price tag might sound far-fetched, the answer is yes, but it's an extreme case. A few rare era coins and specimens with unique characteristics have sold for 6 figures in the past, and the right buyer could be willing to pay millions for a truly extraordinary example. But I must stress, this is an extremely rare occurrence. A 1961 penny with a double die error could fetch upwards of $500,000 or more, and in the right auction environment, it could exceed even that. So while you're not likely to find $1 million penny just lying around, the potential is there if you come across a rare, high-quality, or error coin. Now let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. How can you identify a valuable 1961 penny in your collection? First, inspect the mint mark. Make sure the D is clearly visible and well-formed. Next, check for any unusual features or errors. If you spot any double die or die cracks, you may have a treasure on your hands. Also, always pay attention to the overall condition. Coins in mint state with little to no wear are the ones that can bring in the big bucks. In conclusion, while your average 1961 penny isn't going to make you a millionaire, there's still a great deal of potential for collectors. A high-grade, well-preserved coin can fetch hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to find one with a rare error or minting flaw, you could be looking at a coin worth well into the 6 figures, maybe even millions in the right market. So, the next time you go through your change, remember to check your pennies. You never know what hidden treasures might be just a coin flip away. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on all things coin related. Keep collecting, and keep searching, because you might just find your own little piece of history. Title: The 1964 Lincoln Penny, a hidden treasure worth $1 million? Introduction: Midnight to 1 o'clock, open with upbeat music, close-up of a shiny 1964 Lincoln Penny, followed by a wide shot of the host in a well-lit studio, surrounded by coins. 1964 Lincoln Penny, one of the most sought-after pennies in the world today. But what makes this coin so special, and why could it be worth millions? Stick around as we explore its history, rarity, and why you need to check your change, because this penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. The story of the 1964 Lincoln Penny starts with one of the most iconic American coins, the Lincoln Penny. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's centennial birth anniversary, the Lincoln Penny has gone through various designs over the years. Fast forward to 1964, and we find a coin that is very similar to the classic design, but one thing sets this year apart: the mint mark D, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. The 1964 penny was part of a significant year in American history, as it came right after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, a time of national mourning and reflection. It was also the last year before major design changes in the 1960s, like the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which debuted in 1959. But in 1964, the design remained unchanged, making this penny part of a very specific and valuable era. So, what makes the 1964 penny so special? Well, there's a lot to consider. First off, the sheer number of 1964 pennies produced. Over 2.8 billion of them were made. That's a lot of pennies. But the key is that not all 1964 pennies are created equal. While most of these coins are worth just their face value, 1 cent, there are certain characteristics that could turn one of these pennies into a major investment. Now, here's the thing. While most 1964 pennies are still circulating, a select few have something rare about them, a die error or imperfections in the minting process. This leads us into what we call error coins. But what kind of error are we looking for here? Not all 1964 pennies are worth big bucks, but some rare ones are highly prized. The most famous error with this penny is the double die obverse. This happens when the die that strikes the coin makes an impression more than once, leading to visible doubling of certain parts of the design, such as the date and the motto E pluribus unum. These coins are very rare, and if you happen to find one, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. There are also cases where the mint mark, D, was repunched or misaligned, which also adds significant value to the coin. If you can spot an error like this, your 1964 penny could potentially be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a 1964 with the right imperfections. So, let's talk numbers. What is the actual market value of the 1964 Lincoln penny today? Well, depending on its condition, rarity, and any potential errors, the prices can vary significantly. A standard 1964 penny in average condition might be worth about 2 to 5 cents. Nothing to write home about, right? But here's where things get interesting. If you're lucky enough to find a 1964 penny with the coveted double die obverse, these coins can fetch anywhere from $300 to $1,000 or more. That's a far cry from its original 1 cent value, right? Some extremely well-preserved examples, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can command even higher prices, especially if the error is striking and easy to spot. For example, a top-tier 1964 double die obverse in MS65 or higher condition has been known to sell for upwards of $10,000 at auction. That's right, a penny that was once worth just 1 cent could be worth tens of thousands of dollars today. But what about the $1 million penny? Is there any chance a 1964D could ever be worth $1 million? Well, the truth is, anything's possible in the world of rare coins, but the chances of a 1964D Lincoln penny hitting that $1 million mark are slim, at least with the regular issues. However, certain one-of-a-kind varieties or historically significant era coins can sometimes fetch astronomical prices. If a perfect specimen with a rare and significant era were to surface, it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could break records and set new benchmarks. The most expensive coins in the world, like the 1933 Double Eagle, have sold for millions, but those are true rarities. For the 1964D Lincoln penny, we're more likely to see values in the thousands of dollars rather than the millions, unless an exceptional error is discovered. Now you're probably wondering, how can I tell if my 1964D penny is worth something? It all starts with inspecting the coin closely. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe to check for errors. Here's what to look for. Inspect the date and the inscriptions around Abraham Lincoln for signs of doubling. Look closely at the mint mark D to see if it appears doubled or misplaced. Sometimes the coin isn't struck properly, and this can significantly increase its value. If your coin is in excellent condition with little wear, it could also be valuable, even without errors. If you find something that seems off, it might be time to have the coin professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade can significantly increase its value. To sum it all up, while the 1964D Lincoln penny is not the rarest or most valuable penny out there, certain varieties with errors can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. And if you're lucky enough to find a top-tier example with a rare error, you could be looking at an incredible windfall. But of course, finding such a penny requires a bit of luck, some sharp eyes, and the right knowledge to spot these hidden treasures. So, the next time you're going through your change, don't just toss those pennies aside. You might be holding a potential gold mine in your hand. And if you want to see more amazing coin finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We've got plenty more rare coins and valuable finds coming your way. 1967 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. But this isn't just any penny, this is a rare, no mint mark penny that could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars. But is it really worth that much? Let's take a closer look. The year 1967 may seem like just another year in the 1960s, but for coin collectors, it's a fascinating year that produced some rare finds, particularly when it comes to the Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, most pennies from 1967 are not worth much beyond their face value of 1 cent. However, some 1967 pennies were struck without a mint mark, making them a significant anomaly in the world of numismatics. But what does that mean for their value today? First, let's talk about mint marks. Normally, U.S. coins have a mint mark that indicates where they were produced. For pennies from 1967, coins minted in Philadelphia should have no mint mark, while those from Denver would have a D mint mark, and those from San Francisco would have an S. However, some pennies were struck in Philadelphia but didn't receive a mint mark at all. This is where things get interesting. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny stands out because of this striking error. It's a coin that was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, but was not marked with the traditional mint mark. This error was likely caused by a mistake during the coin production process. So, why does this matter for collectors? Coins with minting errors are highly sought after by collectors, and the 1967 no mint mark penny is one such example. When errors like this occur, they create scarcity, and scarcity is key in the world of coin collecting. Coins that were supposed to have a mint mark but were missing it are much rarer, and rarity often leads to higher values in the market. Now, let's get to the burning question: how much is the 1967 no mint mark penny actually worth? Well, the market value can vary depending on several factors like condition, demand, and whether the coin is graded by professional organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Coins that are in excellent condition, especially those that are graded as MS65 or higher, can command prices in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In contrast, A penny that's heavily worn may only be worth a couple of bucks. However, some of the best examples, those in pristine condition, can be worth well over $1,000. In rare cases, if you find a perfectly preserved, uncirculated 1967 no-mint mark penny, it could potentially fetch a price close to $10,000 at auction. That's right, $10,000. But that's not all. Depending on its rarity and market trends, some could even fetch over $100,000 or more. But of course, these are exceptional coins, and finding one in that condition is incredibly rare. So, the question on everyone's mind, could a 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny really be worth $1 million? The answer is complicated. While it's unlikely that a standard 1967 no-mint mark penny would reach the $1 million mark, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility, especially if an example were to come with historical significance or is linked to an important coin collection. Rare coins with errors or unique features have sold for millions in the past, like the famous 1933 Double Eagle gold coin. While the 1967 no-mint mark penny is unlikely to break records in the same way, there's always a chance that a high-profile collector might pay an astronomical price for one. Now that we know how valuable the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can be, how can you identify one in your collection? Here are some tips to help you spot a potential treasure. The absence of a mint mark on a penny that was supposed to have one is a red flag that it might be a 1967 no-mint mark penny. Coins that are in uncirculated or nearly uncirculated condition are worth significantly more. Check for scratches, wear, or discoloration. If you think you have a valuable coin, get it graded by a professional. This can ensure you get the most accurate estimate of its value. Once you've found your 1967 no-mint mark penny, you might be wondering how to sell it. There are several ways to go about it. You can try selling through online auction platforms like eBay, or you could take it to a reputable coin dealer. However, if you think your penny could be worth thousands or even millions, consider contacting a professional numismatist who specializes in rare coins. They can help you get it into the right hands for the best price. So, while the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny may not always be worth $1 million, it's certainly a coin that can fetch a pretty penny if you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, keep your eyes peeled for those rare treasures. You never know what you might have hidden in your change jar. 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that, for most of us, is probably considered just another penny. But what if I told you it could be worth millions of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. Stay tuned to find out why this particular coin has collectors on the edge of their seats. Before we get into why the 1968 Lincoln penny could be worth so much, let's start with some basic information. The Abraham Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features a bust of President Lincoln on the obverse, front side, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back side. Zoom in on a typical 1968 penny with a mint mark. Typically, most pennies are marked with a mint mark indicating where they were produced: D4 Denver, S4 San Francisco, and P4 Philadelphia. But the 1968 penny we're focusing on today doesn't have any mint mark at all. This is where things start to get interesting. So, why is the 1968 penny without a mint mark so special? To understand this, we have to go back in time. The minting of coins is a very precise process, and every year, there's the possibility of rare errors. For the 1968 Lincoln penny, the absence of a mint mark on some pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint was not intentional. Cut to black and white footage of the U.S. Mint in operation during the late 1960s. In 1968, the Philadelphia Mint began producing pennies without the usual P mint mark. These coins were originally intended to have a mint mark, just like the ones from the Denver and San Francisco mints. However, for reasons unknown, some of these pennies came off the press with no mint mark at all. So, how rare is this coin really? Well, while it's hard to know the exact number of unmarked 1968 pennies, estimates suggest that fewer than 10% of the pennies produced that year came without a mint mark. That's a significant number for a coin that is considered a mint error. Most people don't even realize they have a rare coin like this, and that's what makes it even more valuable in today's market. Now the big question: how much is the 1968 no mint mark penny worth? On the surface, it might seem like just another penny, but due to its rarity, the value can vary drastically. Cut to a screen showing examples of auction sales for 1968 no mint mark pennies. On average, a 1968 no mint mark penny can fetch anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 in the right market conditions. But in some cases, especially when the coin is in mint condition or graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the value can go up significantly. Some collectors have even reported that in rare auctions, 1968 no mint mark pennies have reached over $50,000. In fact, depending on the coin's condition, whether it's uncirculated, has a specific grading score, or has other unique features, some have been sold for over $100,000 at auction. And here's the big kicker: there are whispers in the coin world that a perfectly preserved, well-graded 1968 no mint mark penny could potentially be worth millions of dollars in the future. As demand for rare coins continues to grow, and collectors realize how few of these coins are out there, its market value could skyrocket. So, what exactly makes this coin so valuable? There are several factors that play a role in determining the price of any rare coin. For the 1968 no mint mark penny, it's all about scarcity, demand, and condition. Show examples of different grades of coins and how they impact the price. The condition of the coin is a huge factor. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. Coins that are in mint state, especially those that are free from scratches, wear, or discoloration, tend to fetch the highest prices. Coins that are graded 65 and higher can see significant increases in value. The rarity is another major factor. There are a limited number of these unmarked pennies in circulation, and not all of them have survived in good condition, so the demand from collectors continues to grow. Finally, it's the history and intrigue surrounding the coin that increases its worth. People are fascinated by the idea that a simple mistake at the mint could lead to such a valuable treasure. Now you might be wondering, how can I tell if I have a 1968 no mint mark penny? Well, checking your pennies is simple. Start by inspecting the obverse of the coin. Look at the area under Lincoln's neck, where the mint mark would normally appear. If you see no mint mark, then you may just have a rare coin on your hands. Be sure to check the coin's condition as well. A well-preserved penny, especially one with minimal wear and tear, will be worth more than one that's heavily scratched or corroded. So, there you have it. The 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny might just be the hidden gem you've been looking for. Whether it's worth thousands or, in rare cases, millions, it's one of those coins that can make a huge difference in a collector's portfolio. Remember, coin collecting is about more than just money. It's about history, discovery, and preserving the past. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the 1968 no mint mark penny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more exciting coin content. And of course, let me know in the comments if you've ever come across one of these rare coins yourself.